Hey, wrestling fans, F and True followers, members of the YWC. Brian Crazy here, F and True Wrestling, back at you with my Monday Night Raw review from 7/4/2011. I do have to dedicate this show to one of my fallen friends, Michael Krupa. He was an incredible friend. He passed away in an unfortunate boating accident a couple of years ago. I went down with, I got three little boys myself, but I went down and we were just at the beach right off where near it happened and had a nice day. Could tell I'm a little sunburnt. Happy 4th of July for everybody out there. And unfortunately, right after we left, I mean, there was a lot of people there today, several hundred. I mean, the Connecticut beaches fill up very fast on holidays. And right after we left, unfortunately, someone passed away. Got caught in the current. Him and his little boy. The little boy, unfortunately, is safe, but the father wasn't so fortunate. And my thoughts go out to him. But for my Monday Night Raw review, we start off with a video package highlighting the end of Raw from last week. We see some of the things that CM Punk discussed when his mic was cut off. If you guys don't know, this was in fact a work shoot. They told him to go out, not scripted, but work. You know, they said go out and speak your mind, but this is, the eventual outcome. Then we see, one of the typical match highlights for later in the night. It's going to be Ray versus Alberto versus R-Truth for the #1 contender for the WWE title. And then we see one hyping Alex Riley versus The Miz. Both these men are going to be part of the Money in the Bank ladder. The Money in the Bank ladder match this Sunday. Excuse me, got a little off course there for a minute, guys. So let me get back on track and get focused. So John Cena comes out and cuts a promo. What he discusses, these are the key points. CM Punk is suspended indefinitely. CM Punk has been stripped of the #1 contender, and there will be that match that I mentioned earlier to find out who the new #1 contender will be for Money in the Bank. John Cena goes on to saying he doesn't agree with what Punk said, but he does agree there was nothing wrong with it. He agrees that he has the right to freedom of speech. Then he discusses what happened with Daniel Bryan for being too aggressive, WWE agents taking fans' signs, and CM Punk speaking his mind and him being censored. And he's asking what's going on with freedom of speech, and the fans start chanting First Amendment. He kind of makes a funny jab at himself, saying that he looks like a jug of Kool-Aid with shorts on, and he looks over at Cole and says, "Don't even dare interrupt me with that GM during my tirade." And he goes on to say, he wants answers, and he wants to talk to Vince McMahon himself. So what he did is no disrespect to the GM, he even kind of threw that out there, that he contacted Vince McMahon himself, and Vince will be in the house tonight. So we come back from commercial break, and the Money in the Bank case is hanging high above the ring. For the next match, we will see Nikki and Brie Bella go against the WWE Divas Champion Kelly and Eve Torres. Brie Bella is going to use her rematch clause, and she will face Kelly at Money in the Bank for that championship. Some nice spots in this match. Eve did a standing moonsault. Kelly did a Lou Thesz press and a spinning head scissors. Kelly picked up the win. So then we go into a little promo package hyping up Andy. As you guys know, Andy was the winner of Tough Enough, and now he's performing down in Florida Championship Wrestling, where his skills are being honed a little bit further. I think he's going to be incredible talent. I cheered for Silent Rage all the way, and I'm glad to see that he made it. We see, well, I'll be honest, until Martin got hurt, Martin was my pick. And then after Martin, Silent Rage became my pick. It's not that I disliked him in the early weeks of the show, but Martin really stood out to me. And if he didn't get injured, I think he could have done something pretty cool in WWE. Then we see R-Truth backstage promo. He's talking about a conspiracy, talking about the little Jimmies and little Jennies. And then he talks about good news. I see 15% on my auto insurance, which I thought was pretty funny with Geico. Then he sees Alberto Del Rio, and he goes, Senor Jimmy. And Alberto Del Rio basically says, it is my destiny to win this match, and it's my destiny to win the WWE Championship. And the shame is Del Rio was actually scheduled to win the World's Heavyweight Championship several times last year, but due to, the situation with Edge and several other things, those plans were changed. They announced, before the next match, they announced the participants for the Raw Money in the Bank match. These were known last week, but I'll run them down for you guys that did not get to catch last week's show. Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, Evan Bourne, ADR, Alberto Del Rio, Miz, Swagger, Alex Riley, and R-Truth. For the next match, we see Santino and Vladimir Kozlov team against David Otunga and Mr. Perfect Jr., who are the current WWE Tag Team Champions. We see Vladimir Kozlov hit a huge double suplex on these two gentlemen, and Mr. Perfect Jr. is no small guy, so this was a pretty good feat of strength. We see Santino do a split, and then he does a double hip toss, goes for the Cobra, knocks Otunga out the ring. Hennig hits a huge slam and picks up the win. Post-match, we see Zack Ryder come to the top of the stage, go woo, 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 and you know it, and just stand there kind of smirking. I think this is kind of, WWE's got a plan for this. This guy is a draw, even though he's not on Monday Night Raw, and they know that. They know he pulls a bigger number on Superstars because people tune in just for that to see this guy. A lot of people enjoy his show here on YouTube. I've seen some. They are funny. I'm not even going to lie. And he's actually a good technical wrestler. I've seen him in person. So we go to a Miz promo. Miz says he's been set off course. He says he brought Alex Riley into the WWE and he vows to take him out. He looks a little disturbed, a little more than last week. And, when he goes, I'm the Miz and I'm awesome, he's just not displaying his normal confidence. He's really gotten under his skin. Alex Riley has. And then we go into a backstage segment with Bourne and Sergeant Slaughter, talking about Sarge is about to give the pledge on the 4th of July. Swagger comes in, interrupts, insults him for, churning on the U.S., siding with Iraq during the Gulf War, if you guys remember that. And he's like, just because you said I want my country back doesn't mean you're going to, just get it. So Swagger wants to face him. And then we see McMahon's jet land. And then we see the next match, Swagger versus Sergeant Slaughter. Swagger wins after a quick match. Bourne makes the save after Swagger locks into ankle lock post-match. Bourne passes him the mic, and Sarge leads us in the pledge. As you guys know, the whole heel turn obviously was scripted. Sarge is very patriotic, and I'm sure he had, just like when Hulkamania went from Hulkamania to Hollywood, I'm sure Sarge had many reservations about doing that kind of character change. Then we see the triple threat for the number one contender. We see Alberto Del Rio go against Rey Mysterio, go against R-Truth. You know what? It looked like Alberto Del Rio kind of hit a reverse code breaker, and then Michael Cole goes vintage Del Rio. Del Rio hasn't even been, he's been practicing wrestling for a long time, and I'm the first guy to toot Dos Cross Jr.'s horn. That was his ring name in Mexico. But 11 months, and he's vintage now. Michael Cole is almost getting over the top. I like Schiavone, but he's almost getting to the Tony Schiavone level of just hyping things up. This is the greatest match ever. This is the greatest match ever. And then there would be a better match. And then Schiavone, this is the greatest match ever. It's kind of what I'm feeling like here. Get back to it, though. We see many close falls. R-Truth hits his hard scissor kick to Rey. Rey doesn't even go down. He just takes the shot right to the back of his neck. Rey tapped out after Alberto Del Rio locked in the cross armbar. Alberto Del Rio is the new number one contender. When will he get this title shot? Is he going to get it at Money in the Bank? Is he going to get it at the next pay-per-view? Is he going to get it on Monday Night Raw? This was not made clear. I'm sure it won't be before CM Punk and John Cena lock up at Money in the Bank. So, they go back to a video clip about the 2005 Money in the Bank at WrestleMania. What a fantastic event. This is the one that Edge ended up picking up the win. Then we go into Dolph Ziggler. He's the U.S. champ, so he wants a birthday party. It's the U.S.'s birthday, so he wants a birthday party for the U.S. champ. Kofi Kingston interrupts. He ends up throwing first Vicky's ass into the cake, or she gets inadvertently pushed into it, and then her face. And Kofi gets in some good strikes on the U.S. champ, and Dolph retreats. Then we go into Riley versus Miz. This is another great contest. We see a lot of... Miz is just furious. He needs to win this. He's got this in his mind that he can't beat A-Ryan. He needs to get this done. Alex Riley stands toe-to-toe with The Miz throughout the match. Riley wins with a backslide. Nice wrestling move. Post-match, Miz goes insane, beats the crap out of Alex Riley. You could just see the look in his eyes. He has just lost it. Puts him on the announce position and does a big kick right to the face, running kick to the face, kind of like a Randy Orton pump, but just not in the ring, and his head was more elevated, so it was an elevated kick. Then we see Vince come out. Vince says he believes in free speech. This is after John Cena comes out. Vince says he believes in free speech, and that's why your microphone is still working. We'll jab at CM Punk. Cena goes, "Hey Vince, you're a fighter. Have you gone soft? Have those grapefruits turned into peach pits? You know how he's always referred to himself. He's got the largest grapefruits, referring to downstairs." Said if Vince didn't feel like fighting, he needs to hang it up, old man. I mean, he just kept pushing each one of Vince's buttons so he could get his wish. Vince goes, "I only take calculated risk, and I had to stop CM Punk from taking that title to another promotion. And I'm not convinced that you can beat him. I like you, John. Don't let this get between us. But I'm not convinced that you could stop him." And Cena wants this match. And then Vince throws out a little Hogan jab, I notice, and says, "You know what? I want you to have this conversation one-on-one. We need to talk like men. Why do we have to do this in public? You're embarrassing me. This is my company. It's not your company. Who do you think you are? There's been stars before you. Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, just to name a few." And, Cena goes into, "Hey, you're so worried about CM Punk winning, and, you're so afraid. I didn't sign up for this." And he actually hands him back the title. And this is when Vince snaps. He comes up, he hands him the belt and says, "You know what? You wanted this. But if you lose to CM Punk, you're fired." And Vince walks off. I mean, this is what we need. We need Mr. McMahon back in the driver's seat every Monday night. It took him a little while to get back in that character, but once he did, oh my God, was it fire. It was a great Monday Night Raw. I enjoyed all 2 hours of it, and I can't wait to see what happens next week. WWE, my number one suggestion, the only thing I would improve, next week, have Vince there. Continue this feud, have CM Punk there, have John there, and let's get this build towards Money in the Bank right where it should be. They're doing a phenomenal job. Just keep up the good work. So for F and True Wrestling, Brian Crazy, happy 4th of July. I will catch you later.